Let's go!
Alright, we gotta go back in time a little bit before I show you that. 2 years ago, actually. Wow, look at that wallboard hanging out of the window. I forgot how bad it was up here. So, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. A couple quick disclaimers for you. First off, this is not actually a before and after video. 90% of what I'm going to show you is still a work in progress. So, it's a before and now video. And secondly, this is not going to be so much of a house tour, considering it's kind of hard to give a tour of something that's only 200 square feet. It's more or less just a before and now and a little walkthrough of what we've done and what we're doing. So what I don't have any video of is the initial cleaning up here, getting all the junk down and the overgrowth, and then getting that first side over there cleaned, prepped, and resealed. But it was essentially the same process on this side over here, and I do have video of that. So it was essentially just a ton of grinding and pressure washing and more grinding and more pressure washing. And don't forget to cut all that rebar so you don't stub your toes. And then after that rebar is cut, there's tons of mounds of concrete that need to be ground down as well, make it flush. No tripping hazards. We don't like stub toes around here, so we'll make that side look like this side over here. Nice and flush, ready to be resealed. So at this point we were pretty much totally cleaned, got all the old block up, and got the floor almost ready to be resealed and to continue with construction. Wow, that was a beautiful morning. Gorgeous sunrise on that day. That's the wifey giving me a hand with some paintings. Always nice to have a teammate. She's still getting after it even when she was pregnant. And at this point we had tackled the base of the walls around the bathroom. And on this side over here is going to be another bedroom. And that brings us to where we are today. I'll get into what's going on over there in a second, but first let me walk over here and take in this view. Seriously never get tired of it. You know, a lot of people have a misconception when we tell them that we moved to the Caribbean. I'm not a crypto boy down here dodging taxes. I'm just a boy with a dream. And you know, we've had to make a lot of sacrifices to come out here and attempt this, and having subpar living conditions up front was one of them, but we are over the hump and ready to keep going with this thing. So I've got one more wall to put up right here, and then we'll be ready to start framing. I'm only going up about 4.5 feet with the block, and then I'm going to frame the rest, put a angled roof on it. And the bathroom. You've been dying to ask, I've been dying to tell you. Yes, this is a functioning toilet. Yes, this is where we have gone to the bathroom for the past 2 years. It was even more exposed before the walls went up. Now there is a bathroom down on the second floor, but we tend not to use it unless it's absolutely pouring. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna miss it when there's a roof over this thing. We've enjoyed having the toilet with a view, but progress is good, so as much as I'll miss it, I'll be glad when all of this is done and we've got a real bathroom with a roof over it and a second bedroom. It's gonna be awesome. So I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. If there's anything that I don't go over, if you've got any questions about how or why I did something, feel free to ask. But there's a good chance that I'll answer whatever your question is in later videos as I continue this project. So we've got a lot done, but still have got a ton to do. A little before and after. And let's back this up real quick. Wait, hang on. Sorry, we gotta go back one more time. So I don't have a ton of video from before I started the channel, but I'd like to utilize what little I do have. Also want to kind of show what has gone into getting it to the current state that it's at. You can tell that carport was looking rough 2 years ago. Don't know if I've mentioned this before, but when we first got here, there was not even a staircase to get up to the 3rd floor. Just a ladder resting on the ledge right there. So every single one of these wall boards, this is how I got up there. All right, so later that day, I got a spiral staircase installed and killed the inside of the exterior wall once we got all of the old stuff removed and everything cleaned out. All of these gaps where the framing meets the columns was just filled with stucco. So I had to go and chisel all of that out so that I could put in foam insulation right in those cracks. And these are the boards I'm going to be putting up for wall boards. And here's a view looking in through a non-existent window. It's looking rough, but definitely better than how we started. And even 2 years ago, I was obsessed with this view we were about to live with. And then eventually I was able to start putting the wall boards up, getting them cut to size, busting out all the old window frames, cutting the wall boards out around the windows. And then eventually we were able to start putting the windows in. And then after all the windows in and the walls were up, we were able to paint. And it ended up looking something like this before we moved all of our stuff into it. Now, after these pictures of the paint job, I'm gonna show a couple quick clips of the different iterations of how this place has looked until we got it to how it is today. As you can see in this photo, we had a little cheap gas stove that was so small it couldn't even fit one of my skillets on the burner. We had a tiny little mini fridge, and we had no electricity. We were living by lamplight, and all of our electronics were powered by a drop cord ran from the 2nd floor. You can see a cloth wardrobe there in the right corner. Really bumming it. There's the dogs hanging out. And at one point there was even a bed on the floor over there. For a long time, actually. But enough of that, let's get into it. All right. So one of the first things that I'm gonna point out is the floor. It's very distracting and it's kind of embarrassing. It's one of the things that's keeping this place from looking like a home. So originally I had decided to take an easy way out, and instead of tiling the floor, I painted it. I thought I selected a product that was up for the challenge, but apparently we were too abusive on it. It did look nice at one point, I promise, but after a year and a half, however long it's been since I painted it, it is not holding up so well. So that'll be something I'll be tackling in the future. But moving on to the grand tour of our 200 square foot studio apartment. So ignore the pregnancy pillow and the pregnancy ball. If you missed the last video, you would know that my wife and I found out we were expecting about halfway through this passion project of ours, so that's another part of this journey for us. So this is the bed. It's where we snooze at night, sometimes during the day. It's a king-size Casper, in case you were curious. Now this thing right here used to hold our shoes and raincoats and towels and all kinds of stuff, and now it is full of baby stuff. And in this corner over here, we have more baby stuff. Don't let the tone fool you. I am ecstatic. Beautiful view out of that window right there. Gotta love it. So this right here is a dresser of sorts that I built, not finished with. Still gotta sand it, paint it, finish it, all that kind of stuff. But I was just trying to get everything off the floor. I say that as there's stuff on the floor, but anyways, it's got these cloth drawer inserts. It works for us. It'll look better when it's done. Moving on. This is that little bookshelf nook that I built into the wall. It's always full of junk. And here's our TV on a 360 swivel mount so that we can have it viewed from wherever we're at in this massive living space. And above that right there is our Starlink router, some other stuff. So that is pretty much the entire bedroom side of the studio apartment. Not a whole lot to explain over there. It's a bedroom. So moving on to the other side of the apartment, this is one of my favorite things in the whole house. It's this hammock chair that I installed indoors. Love it. Spend a ton of my time in this chair, honestly. And this place wouldn't be the same to me without it. Behind this hammock chair, there's a ladder that I built into the wall to access the roof via this hatch up here. And despite it being a ladder, it is always full of stuff like it's a shelf. So I built that additional cubby to the left of it, and more stuff made its way there, so can't beat it. This is our dining room table that was given to us by a good friend, Frank. Thank you, Frank, if you're watching. Beautiful table. More space than we need. And over here we have our kitchen. That is a camp sink. I'll explain that in another video. It is what it is. Above that, we've got our coffee and tea stuff up there. And then on the shelf next to that, we've got our dishes, cups, and all that stuff. Above the stove, we've got all our seasonings and cooking oils and all of that good stuff. Coffee grinder, blender, all the essentials. And this is the commercial grade stove that I ended up getting. Do a ton of cooking, and I like to be able to get stuff really hot, get a nice sear on that steak, you know, whatever it is you're doing. I really like this stove because you can use not all of it. So pretty neat. And next to the bigger stove, I've got a smaller version of it because 4 of those burners would have been a little excessive. Under the stove, got a small little electric oven. It's big enough to do everything that we need, so works for us. And under the countertop, we've got dry storage, got a full house filter, water filter, got a pump, a couple other things. It's a mess under there. 2 refrigerators. Still got that mini fridge from the OG days, but we got an additional larger fridge so that we're not feeling like we're in a college dorm. Microwave above the fridge, and you can't forget the stroller in the corner. So that's pretty much it for the whole kitchen. And honestly, that's pretty much it for the whole apartment. Not a lot to show in 200 square feet. One thing that I did not get into yet was the AC or the curtains. Man, how cute are these baby clothes? Anyways, the first 2 summers that we were here, we lived native, as they call it. No air conditioning, just relying on the windows being open and that constant sweet breeze from the trade winds. But this summer, with record-setting heat waves and a pregnancy on our hands, to keep everyone safe and comfortable, we put an AC unit in. And it took the edge off, but during the middle of the day, the heat, the sun coming through these bigger windows was just too much. So we had to put up these blackout curtains. And after I put up the blackout curtains, I got the idea to make this partition to keep even more cool air on that side of the apartment, and also make a little privacy barrier. Kind of turn it into 2 rooms. Got it connected with magnets there. Still it's a work in progress. It's not done. I've got enough excess material to make sure that it actually goes all the way to the floor. So that's a future project. But but it makes a huge difference from one side to the other about sound, privacy, keeping the cool air in, keeping it dark on the other side. Once I'm actually finished with it, it'll look a lot less silly, I promise. But everything's a work in progress. And there's definitely been no shortage of challenges in living here, but we've loved it. Wouldn't ask for a different life. Never get tired of looking out of these windows. Really just can't beat it. And I'm not gonna lie, there are times where I get overwhelmed and I feel like we're just gonna pack it up and move back to the States. You know, questioning my life choices, self-doubt, all of that stuff creeps in, but then I take a step out onto this balcony and just take a deep breath, take it in, remember why I'm here, how fortunate I am to have the challenges that I do. But anyways, that's all I've got for today. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you have a blessed day. Peace.